So my intention was to make people think I was nice.
Ellen, were you surprised by the allegations about P. Diddy? Did that surprise you about P. Diddy? He's been on your show many times.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties.
New groundbreaking information about Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey has revealed unexpected connections with figures like Diddy and other controversial Hollywood personalities. Recent events have sparked intense curiosity as more details about their involvement in relationships unfold in this dramatic circle of influence. Are these ties deeper than they appear? What might this mean for their public image? Join us as we delve into how the FBI reveals arrest warrants for Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey. Recent drama and controversies. Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey have long been two of the most respected figures in television. However, in recent years, they have faced controversies that have altered public perceptions. Ellen DeGeneres, a comedian known for her talk show that promoted kindness and positivity, encountered a major scandal in 2020. Claims surfaced suggesting that the work environment on her show was far from the friendly atmosphere it portrayed. Some former and current employees alleged that the atmosphere behind the scenes was toxic, with accusations of intimidation, racial insensitivity, and an environment fueled by fear. These issues were brought to light through a BuzzFeed news report that led to an internal investigation by Warner Media. DeGeneres responded by issuing multiple apologies and committed to making changes, which included the departure of several top producers from her show. However, her attempts to mend her reputation were not enough to repair the damage done to her image. Viewership dropped significantly, and the Ellen DeGeneres Show ended in 2022. On the other hand, Oprah Winfrey did not face similar workplace allegations, but has encountered her share of controversies. Recently, her association with individuals involved in questionable activities has raised concerns. Winfrey has been linked to Harvey Weinstein and Sean Diddy Combs, a well-known figure in the music and entertainment industry, who has faced multiple legal challenges, including accusations of misconduct and alleged involvement in troubling activities. Given Winfrey's public support for empowerment and her advocacy against misconduct, her connection to Diddy has drawn criticism. People have questioned her judgment and the influence of the people around her. While Winfrey has not directly addressed this connection in depth, it has sparked conversation, with some questioning whether her association with controversial figures contradicts her values and public stance. The public response to these situations has varied. For DeGeneres, the change in perception was stark. Known for her "Be Kind" motto, she once held a beloved place in the hearts of many viewers. Yet, as details of the toxic workplace culture emerged, many fans felt disappointed and betrayed, leading to a social media outcry. In Winfrey's case, the reaction has been more nuanced. Her association with controversial personalities has not resulted in the same degree of backlash, but her public image has undoubtedly been impacted. Unlike DeGeneres, Winfrey has chosen to keep a low profile and not openly discuss these associations. Nevertheless, the public has taken notice, and opinions are divided. While some defend her as a victim of guilt by association, others believe that her powerful platform requires her to carefully choose her associates and the influences she brings into her network. The connections between DeGeneres, Winfrey, Diddy, and other notable Hollywood figures add another layer of complexity to these controversies. Diddy's legal issues have brought attention to several high-profile individuals, shedding light on the often intricate relationships within the entertainment industry. Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey have weathered controversies, but how did Ellen respond when facing backlash directly on her show? Did she end it on her terms, or was there more behind the decision? Let's explore her side of the story. Ellen details being targeted on show. Ellen DeGeneres has presented herself as a victim, brushing off allegations that she fostered a toxic workplace on her long-running daytime show. In her interviews with Oprah Winfrey and Today's Savannah Guthrie, she cited creative reasons for ending her show, claiming she wanted a new challenge. DeGeneres emphasized that the decision had nothing to do with low ratings or the backlash against her, which she described as too orchestrated. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, she maintained that if the criticism had been the reason for her departure, she wouldn't have returned for the final season. During a friendly chat with Winfrey on her show, DeGeneres discussed her choice to end the Ellen DeGeneres show after 19 seasons. That same day, she appeared on Today, which airs on the same network as her show. In both appearances, DeGeneres insisted that her decision to leave was due to a lack of creative challenge and dismissed claims of a toxic environment. She also described the backlash as misogynistic, orchestrated, and coordinated, suggesting that being a woman in the industry contributed to the criticism. She said, "It was really interesting because I'm a woman, and it did feel very misogynistic." She expressed that the backlash felt like attacks against her character and everything she had built her career upon. "I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy," she asserted. During their conversation, Winfrey, a friend of DeGeneres, did not bring up the allegations of a toxic work culture. Instead, she praised DeGeneres for ending the show on her terms. "I'm proud of you for trusting your instinct," Winfrey said, mentioning that TV hosts often see their staff as family. DeGeneres echoed this sentiment, saying she loves everyone on her team and chose to do one more season for their sake. "I wanted to give them a year," she explained. Since launching in 2003, DeGeneres' show has focused on positive interviews, dancing, and kindness, building her image as the Be Kind lady. However, many fans became disillusioned following multiple reports criticizing her behind-the-scenes behavior. These reports suggested that DeGeneres could be mean and distant from her staff, with rumors about a plan to reduce staff salaries at the beginning of the pandemic. Several former employees also spoke out, claiming they were fired for taking bereavement or medical leave and were instructed not to speak to DeGeneres or look her in the eye on set. Additionally, current and former employees described an atmosphere of fear, intimidation, and racism in their day-to-day work. In a separate investigation, dozens of men and women accused 3 of the show's producers of misconduct, leading to the producers' dismissal. Following these reports, DeGeneres addressed the controversy on air, offering an apology that ultimately led to a loss of 1 million regular viewers. She insisted that she had been unaware of any issues on her show until reading about them in the media. DeGeneres portrayed the situation as a personal attack, claiming it was unreasonable for her to know everything occurring in an organization with over 200 employees. "I don't know how I could have known when there are 225 employees here, and there are a lot of different buildings," she explained, "unless I stayed here until that last person goes home at night." DeGeneres also pointed to the positive feedback she received from celebrity guests, who often praised the happy atmosphere on the set. She expressed frustration about the allegations, saying, "When something is coming back at me that I know is not true, I guess I could take 1 or 2 of those shots, but 4 months in a row took a toll on me." Despite the challenges, DeGeneres said she remains proud of her work and the people who have continued to support her. The Ellen DeGeneres show was concluded after its 19th season, marking the end of her contract with Warner Media. Ellen DeGeneres may have described her experiences as a targeted backlash, but what happens when another iconic figure like Oprah Winfrey faces her own set of public criticisms? With all her achievements, has Oprah truly escaped controversy unscathed? Discover how fame and public scrutiny collide next. Oprah Winfrey's public image and criticisms. Oprah Winfrey has built an impressive career with her influential television presence and contributions to social causes. Throughout her journey, she's inspired many with her dedication to issues like education and women's empowerment, and she has reached a level of fame that few in her field have achieved. However, this fame has also come with several criticisms and controversies. Over the years, Winfrey has faced backlash for certain aspects of her career, including her interview style, connections with controversial figures, and situations involving her close friend and fellow journalist Gayle King. These criticisms have sparked significant public debate and required her to respond in various ways. One of the most notable aspects of Winfrey's career is her interview style, which has occasionally been criticized for being invasive or insensitive. For example, in a 2003 interview with singer Dolly Parton, Winfrey asked pointed questions about Parton's experience with plastic surgery. The interview resurfaced in 2021, and many criticized Winfrey's approach, calling it inappropriate and disrespectful. Similarly, her 1986 interview with model Cindy Crawford was later considered problematic. During the interview, Winfrey asked Crawford to stand up and show her body, which Crawford later described as a humiliating experience. These moments led some to question Winfrey's approach to interviewing, suggesting that although her methods might have been acceptable in an earlier era, they now appear outdated and insensitive. Beyond her interview style, Winfrey's connections with controversial figures have also impacted her public image. Her past friendship with film producer Harvey Weinstein, who was later convicted of several misconduct-related charges, drew significant criticism. Winfrey publicly condemned Weinstein, stating she had been unaware of his actions. However, her previous association with him has continued to shadow her reputation. Another example involved her connection with music mogul Russell Simmons, who faced multiple misconduct allegations. Winfrey initially supported a documentary that included testimonies from Simmons' accusers, but she later withdrew her support, citing creative differences. This decision led to accusations that she had abandoned the victims, and many questioned her motivations, suggesting that her actions reflected an inconsistency in her support for survivors. The controversy involving Gayle King, Winfrey's close friend, added further complexity to her public image. In 2020, King received intense backlash after interviewing WNBA star Lisa Leslie and questioning her about the late Kobe Bryant's past allegations shortly after his death. Many saw the timing as insensitive, and the backlash was swift and severe, with King facing death threats and widespread criticism on social media. Winfrey came to King's defense, tearfully addressing the toll this backlash had taken on her friend and condemning the threats as unfair and harmful. This situation highlighted public figures' difficulties navigating sensitive subjects and the potential for strong public reactions when perceived to cross certain boundaries. Winfrey has taken steps to address these criticisms, often making public statements to clarify her intentions and actions. In response to the critiques of her interview style, Winfrey acknowledged the evolving standards in media and expressed regret for any discomfort her past interviews may have caused. Regarding her associations with controversial figures, she has consistently stated that she was unaware of their actions and has since distanced herself from them. Oprah Winfrey has been scrutinized due to her public image and past associations. But how do these connections affect her reputation alongside other celebrities, like Ellen DeGeneres? How do relationships with controversial figures like Diddy shape their public personas? Let's dive into the complex world of celebrity connections and their impact on public perception. Connections to Diddy and other celebrities. Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey are two of the most famous names in entertainment, with each building a brand based on positivity, empowerment, and kindness. However, their associations with music mogul Sean Diddy Combs have attracted scrutiny. Known for his luxurious and wild parties, Diddy's gatherings have been a staple of Hollywood's social scene, regularly drawing in high-profile celebrities. Ellen DeGeneres has been a frequent guest at these parties. Her public image has often revolved around kindness and a positive outlook, so her attendance at events characterized by extravagance and sometimes controversial activities has led some people to question her judgment and the company she keeps. The fact that Diddy has faced multiple allegations of misconduct and other legal issues only heightens the curiosity and concern surrounding DeGeneres' association with him. Oprah Winfrey's connection to Diddy is not as close, but is still notable. She has been photographed alongside him at various industry events and has voiced support for some of his projects. Yet, This association has also criticized her, especially because of the legal accusations Diddy has faced over the years, including claims of misconduct and involvement in troubling matters. For someone like Winfrey, who has championed causes related to women's rights and empowerment, any public support for Diddy appears contradictory in the eyes of some observers. Apart from their ties to Diddy, DeGeneres and Winfrey have also had associations with other controversial figures in Hollywood, adding more complexity to their public personas. DeGeneres has supported Kevin Spacey, a close friend who later faced numerous accusations of misconduct. Her friendship with Spacey persisted even after the allegations became public, resulting in considerable backlash that damaged her reputation. This association contributed to a broader perception of inconsistency between her "be kind" message and her actions, particularly as more details emerged about the people in her social circle. On the other hand, Winfrey's past friendship with Harvey Weinstein, who has since been convicted of multiple serious offenses, has cast a shadow on her advocacy work. Although she has publicly denounced Weinstein's actions, her previous association with him has been difficult to shake and continues to draw criticism. Many feel that her prior closeness to such a figure contrasts sharply with the ideals she promotes in her career. The effects of these connections on DeGeneres' and Winfrey's public images have been significant. DeGeneres, who was celebrated for her uplifting and kind personality for years, has seen her reputation suffer as details about her friendships and the allegations against some of her associates have come to light. These revelations and accusations about a toxic work environment on her show made it challenging for her to maintain the wholesome image that once defined her career. Although still largely respected, Winfrey has faced challenges due to her past associations with controversial people. Her connections to Diddy and Weinstein have led some to question her sincerity and the authenticity of her advocacy for justice and empowerment. Although she has tried to distance herself from these figures and responded to the criticisms with public statements, the associations have left an impression on her image that she cannot easily erase. After exploring Oprah and Ellen's connections to Diddy, we must ask how these controversial associations affect their standing with other big names in Hollywood. Can personal rivalries and past conflicts with celebrities like 50 Cent or Angelina Jolie shape how we view them? Let's dive into the strained relationships that Oprah has faced with some of the industry's most famous figures. Actors who hate Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, despite her fame and widespread influence, has faced criticism and experienced strained relationships with some big names in the entertainment industry. Many well-known figures have voiced their frustrations, declining to work with her or publicly criticizing her choices. One of the most notable examples is rapper 50 Cent, who was outspoken about his dislike for Winfrey. He accused her of primarily focusing on middle-aged white women and felt that she overlooked the hip-hop community. His frustration was so strong that he even named his dog Oprah as a form of protest. Their conflict eventually came to a head during a 2012 episode of Oprah's Next Chapter, where they discussed their issues. Still, their tension had already left a lasting impact on their relationship. Another notable figure who had issues with Winfrey is Angelina Jolie. Jolie refused to help Winfrey launch her Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for girls in South Africa. The refusal was believed to be influenced by Winfrey's perceived support of Jennifer Aniston during Jolie's highly publicized split from Brad Pitt. Given Jolie's dedication to humanitarian work and her love for Africa, her decision was seen as a significant snub. This situation reveals how personal matters in Hollywood can deeply affect professional relationships and shows the complexity of navigating friendships and collaborations in the public eye. David Letterman also had a long-running feud with Winfrey years before their awkward encounter at the 1995 Academy Awards. Letterman once joked about Winfrey paying for his lunch at a restaurant, a comment she reportedly did not appreciate. This incident, among others, sparked a 16-year period where Winfrey refused to appear on Letterman's show, and Letterman frequently made jokes about her. Their relationship eventually improved, but the long-standing tension remains a notable example of Winfrey's sometimes difficult interactions with other high-profile personalities. Joan Rivers was another celebrity who had a critical view of Winfrey. Rivers accused her of using people suffering for television ratings, believing Winfrey often took advantage of sensitive stories to attract viewers. Rivers' blunt and controversial style was well known, and her criticism of Winfrey fit into her reputation for not holding back when commenting on others in the entertainment industry. Rivers' comments emphasized how some saw Winfrey's show as capitalizing on personal struggles, a point of contention for Rivers.
The celebrity associates who are not speaking out. Let's talk about them.
Harvey left the country on the very same day that Diddy was taken into custody.
Sean Combs has been detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center since his arrest earlier this year. Since then, he has had his legal counsel working overtime to defend the rising allegations of misconduct against him. We bring you never-before-seen clips and theories that will give you an insight into the murky waters in which Diddy finds himself. Are there truths to all the theories mentioned? What can you speculate will be the outcome of Diddy's legal battle? Join us as we delve into how a lawyer reveals Hollywood elites who fled the country after Diddy's arrest. The plaintiff, Tony Busby, the attorney from Houston, will be the representative of more than 100 people in separate lawsuits against Diddy, who's been federally indicted for alleged trafficking. During a press conference, Busby said thousands of people have contacted his law firm. They represent 120 people who say they've had varying misconducts done against them. Many of these alleged cases have a similar beginning: a laced drink, a tranquilizer that's not approved for use on people, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control.
And victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us.
Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of misconduct acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened, Busby explained. Busby said they're scrutinizing the growing number of cases and will begin filing the lawsuits within the next 30 days. Last month, a Harris County woman filed a separate lawsuit against Combs, claiming misconduct in New York in 2001. This comes just 2 weeks after Diddy was arrested and charged with trafficking in New York. The indictment alleges he took part in misconduct, trafficking, and transportation to engage in transactional intimacy since 2008. The day after the indictment was unsealed, Diddy was denied bail twice and is currently in jail awaiting his trial date, which was set for May 5th, 2025. Notably, of the 120 people represented by Busby, about 25 were minors when Diddy allegedly victimized them. One of these victims, an unnamed 9-year-old boy, had reportedly auditioned for a record deal in New York City. According to Busby, Diddy engaged in misconduct with the boy after promising him and his parents that he'd be given a record deal. Another case involves a 15-year-old girl who was allegedly flown out to New York City to attend a party, where she had reportedly been given a substance that made her unconscious and taken into a private room. Misconduct took place by several people, all in the presence of Diddy, according to Busby.
The youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Another minor alleged that the music mogul would make him a star, but he first needed to visit Diddy privately. Busby said Diddy made the boy engage in misconduct with him. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed, Busby said. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. We've seen the plaintiffs mounting cases against Diddy. Now let's see Mark Agnifilow's responses. Who is Mark Agnifilo? Who is? The man tasked with keeping Diddy out of prison is seasoned attorney Mark Agnifilo. How did he end up handling such a high-profile case? A case that could put Diddy behind bars for life. Mark has over 30 years of experience as an attorney, and Diddy's legal ace is no novice. He earned his bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science from Connecticut College in 1986 and his law degree from Brooklyn Law School in 1990. He previously served as a supervisor at the United States Attorney's Office for the District of New Jersey and the Manhattan Assistant District Attorney. In the past several years, Mark has been lead trial counsel for the Agnifilo Intrader law firm. According to him, he handles high-stakes criminal cases involving securities, mail, wire, insurance and bankruptcy fraud, money laundering, construction and labor union matters, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act violations, misconduct and enterprise corruption, international arms dealing, criminal antitrust, bribery, kickbacks, and criminal tax investigations. This isn't Mark's first time dealing with a high-profile case. Mark was the attorney for NXIVM founder Keith Raniere's trafficking and misconduct case. Things didn't turn out in Raniere's favor, as he was sentenced to 120 years in prison in 2019. In 2022, Mark represented Goldman Sachs employee Roger Ng, who was convicted of bribery and corruption. During that same period, Mark had secured 3 complete acquittals. Mark took over as Diddy's lead attorney shortly before he was indicted for misconduct crimes. Following Diddy's arrest, Mark came out the gate swinging, telling reporters he would fight like hell to get his client free. "I expect a long battle for a good result for Mr. Combs," Agnifilo said. "I'm gonna fight like hell to get him released, and he should be released with all that he's done and come here voluntarily."
Coming. I mean, he moved to New York, as I think some of you guys know. We brought him to New York about 2 weeks ago because we knew this day was going to come, and it's here.
Did he expect it to happen last night?
And I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs.
Do you think he'll be released?
I'm going to fight like hell to get him released, and he should be released with all that he's done and coming here voluntarily. And guys, I'm going to cut it short because I have to go in. All right?
Agnifilo has continued to make headlines. During Diddy's bond appeal, Mark tried to downplay footage of Diddy and his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in 2016 by blaming the victim. During the hearing, he accused Cassie of cheating on Diddy with her current husband, Alex Fine. They had been cheating on each other for years. Mark told Magistrate Judge Robin F. Tarnofsky in court. But now she has 2 kids with the trainer. Years later, she realized she had a good thing with Mr. Combs. On Wednesday, September 25th, Mark was instrumental in making Costco a trending topic on X when he interviewed TMZ and attempted to justify why authorities allegedly found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube during the raids on Diddy's homes back in March. I don't know where the number 1,000 came. I can't imagine it thousands. I mean, I'm not sure what the baby oil has to do with anything. Agnifilo told TMZ Harvey Levin, "I don't know if you need 1,000. 1 bottle of baby oil goes a long way." Mark added, "I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house and he buys in bulk. I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. Have you sat in the parking lot of a Costco and seen what people walked out of there with?" Although searching Costco's website doesn't yield any results for baby oil, a spokesperson for Costco confirmed to TMZ that they do not sell the product. Diddy is facing the possibility of life in prison if found guilty of all 3 charges he is facing. Even with an A-list lawyer, things could get slippery. Mark has much to defend with the growing number of allegations against Diddy and the media attention the case is getting due to Diddy's social status. Will Mark fulfill his promise of getting Diddy acquitted of all charges? Let's hear what a spectating lawyer has to say about the case. Spectator Mark Garagos cemented his national reputation as a trial lawyer a dozen years ago with back-to-back state and federal court trial acquittals for renowned Whitewater figure Susan McDougal. He later secured a presidential pardon for Miss McDougal for a conviction sustained before he represented her. During the last decade, Garagos has won 2 consecutive dismissals of grievous charges against clients by providing flawed eyewitness identification. One of those clients later won a $1.7 million settlement when the Garagos firm sued the city of Glendale for their false arrest of that client. In another 12-week trial where the victim was the defendant's 4-year-old daughter, Garagos was the lead lawyer and the jury did not convict his client. Garagos was the attorney who successfully represented Chris Brown last year.
I saw nothing during that trial, absolutely nothing, other than what I call the character assassination.
He won the dismissal of transactional intimacy charges against James Bond movie director Lee Tamahori, the dismissal of all felony charges, including non-consensual custody and physical or psychological duress, for Hong Bao-zhong, the recognized exiled leader of China's shadow government with an estimated 38 million followers worldwide, dismissal of previous charges for the third time for a USC co-ed charged with grievous misconduct in the passing of her fetus, and dismissal of a decades-old grievous charge against Japanese national Kazuyoshi Miura, a case dubbed as the Japanese OJ case by Japanese media. Geragos was one of the lead lawyers in a pair of groundbreaking federal class action lawsuits against New York Life Insurance and AXA Corporation for insurance policies issued in the early 20th century during the genocide of over 1.5 million Armenians by the Ottoman Turk regime, eventually settling these two cases for more than $37.5 million. He is currently suing the government of Turkey for reparations arising out of the Armenian cultural erasure. Geragos is the only lawyer besides Johnny Cochran ever named Lawyer of the Year, in both the criminal and civil arenas. California Law Business magazine named Geragos one of the 100 most influential attorneys in California 3 years ago.
Fully 24 of the family members, including siblings and cousins.
His peers have repeatedly voted Geragos as one of Los Angeles' super lawyers. His $59 million jury verdict in a trade secrets case against pharmaceutical giant Pfizer Corporation was voted top 10 verdicts in 2008 in California by the Daily Journal and top 50 verdicts in the United States by the National Law Journal. Mark Geragos has represented some of the most prominent figures in the world. His client list has included former Congressman Gary Condit, former First Brother Roger Clinton, Academy Award-nominated actress Winona Ryder, pop star Michael Jackson, Nicole Richie, singer Chris Brown.
Where any reasonable person taking a look at this case believes they should be out.
Hip-hop stars Nathaniel Nate Dogg Hale and Diddy, international arms dealer Sarkis Soganalian, and the Sarkisian family, whose 17-year-old daughter died when Cigna Corporation refused to authorize a liver transplant. For the last several years, Geragos has represented Barry Bonds' trainer, Greg Anderson, in his matter relating to the federal investigation into his use of banned substances in professional sports. Mark Geragos, who has previously represented Combs in other cases, appeared on Morning in America to discuss the case and to break down possible defense strategies that the musician's attorneys may use. The Department of Homeland Security's search of Diddy's home was a shocking turn of events that seems to be happening at warp speed. The rapper's former lawyer said. Attorney Mark Geragos joined Cuomo, alongside a panel of legal experts. Geragos formerly represented Combs, but as of his appearance is not involved in any legal matters arising from the raid. It is a shock, Geragos said. I've known Sean for at least over a decade. I've represented him, and I will tell you, it's a shocking turn of events.
You should know better than that. Yeah, as a daughter myself.
She's a force of nature, and I was just going to say you have a daughter yourself, but she makes a very good point. I know that people...
Geragos has offered some hot takes on the Diddy case, but that has not stopped the allegations from piling up, nor has it stopped conspiracy theorists from spinning theories. Let's examine some of these allegations. Truth. Allegations. In the music industry, one of the biggest names is Kevin Liles. Liles is no newcomer. He's a highly influential and impactful figure in music. Not only that, he's an advocate for artists like Young Thug, who are going through extreme circumstances to maintain their freedom. Recently, Kevin Liles has been caught up in rumors circulating across various platforms. Even TMZ linked his recent resignation from 300 Entertainment in a headline, which raised eyebrows. Many found the timing suspicious. However, outside of speculation, one must wonder what could have driven someone as prominent as Kevin to step down at that moment. Amidst all this, pictures of Diddy and Kevin Liles are circulating, which further doubts the true reason why Liles resigned from his position.
But we're still going through a RICO case.
Right.
So it's bittersweet. And where he is in his music...
The widespread belief is that Lyles should have chosen a more discreet time to resign, although word has it that his departure has nothing to do with Diddy's legal troubles. It seems like it's simply time for him to move on. Additionally, Warner Music Group, with which Kevin was associated, is going through significant changes. Universal Music Group Chief Executive Lucian Grange is seeking sanctions against a New York City attorney who he claims subjected him to ridicule by associating him as a defendant in a trafficking lawsuit against Diddy. One of the most prominent executives in the music industry, Grange, has said he was dragged into producer Rodney Jones's lawsuit on allegations that he and Universal Music Group funded criminal activity for Diddy's RICO enterprise. Grange and Universal were dropped from the case on March 14th, with the plaintiff's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, conceding that there was no legal basis to include them in the lawsuit. In the motion for sanctions, Grange says Jones and his attorney dragged Grange into one of the most
investigate these claims. These are serious charges. It's not something to be
disturbing music industry scandals in recent history. Record labels, industry executives, and fellow rappers have distanced themselves from Diddy, and to be associated with Diddy's inner circle of alleged misconducts ruined Grange's reputation. The veteran music label executive says, "The sanctions motion is baseless and was filed in bad faith. This will be abundantly clear when we file our opposition," the attorney says. "These are all largely speculations spun by conspiracy theorists. Can they all be false? Let's take a look at even more allegations." More allegations. Suge Knight, the former Death Row Records CEO, spoke with Chris Cuomo of News Nation and clarified that he does not jump up and down and cheer for no black man going to prison. Knight acknowledged that though some people do deserve to serve time in prison for their crimes, it is not always the answer, and it can cause difficulties for those with kids and families. Though he did have this empathetic approach, he also held no punches and called out several rappers who had been silent. "Facts are there," he said. "Where we're at now, I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay-Z.
I don't care any in Hollywood, any on the streets, especially Hollywood rappers. Yeah, we get our paperwork.
I don't care if it's Snoop Dogg, I don't care if it's The Game, I don't care if it's Dr. Dre. Nobody stepped up because you know what's going on." Knight's comment insinuates a bigger ring of misconduct that the public has yet to see. Is this a pattern? Are all music executives involved? Let's dig even further. Even more allegations. Ashton Kutcher's 2019 interview on the show Hot Ones resurfaced. The actor hinted at secrets from Diddy's parties, which have been linked to reports of illegal substances and misconduct. The two have shared a long friendship, with Kutcher regularly attending Diddy parties and co-hosting the 2009 White Party.
cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but
Ethiopia Habtemariam, the former Motown CEO, denies a claim that she's testifying against Diddy. February saw Diddy's former producer Lil Rod file a lawsuit saying Diddy coerced him to perpetuate misconduct. The suit also claims Habtemariam has the knowledge and directly funded Diddy's lifestyle. Habtemariam has reportedly refuted producer Lil Rod's assertions. She also refuted claims that she would appear in court to testify. Ethiopia then called out Jones's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, for his willingness to peddle falsehoods. "I am informed and believe that Mr. Blackburn has falsely represented to various social media sites and other media outlets that I agreed to testify against Diddy," Habtemariam said. "This is completely untrue. I have no personal knowledge of any alleged wrongdoing by Diddy, and there is nothing I could testify to that would be against his interest." In short,
doing this situation is not easy. Taking Puff to court, suing him is not easy.
There is no basis for any of the claims against me, and I should never have been named a defendant in this lawsuit. Music producer Lil Rod made global headlines in February when he filed a stunningly detailed $30 million misconduct and trafficking lawsuit against Diddy in Manhattan federal court. "Here I am, standing up for justice and for what I believe is right for my life," Rodney Jones says, "and I'm being punished." As Diddy faced serious federal charges while in prison, Nick Cannon reflected on his experiences attending the White Parties. During an episode of the Breakfast Club podcast, Cannon recounted his first encounter with a Diddy party as a teenager. He recalled trying to get entry into one such party in New York City when he was around 16 or 17 years old.
I remember standing outside, trying to get into a puff party out here in New York. Like, everybody was up. Like, how the One More Chance video look?
Cannon described the atmosphere, noting, "I remember standing outside, trying to get into a puff party out here in New York," and mentioned that attendees often avoided speaking about it openly. He said, "Everybody gets scared to talk because they probably have something to hide." However, Cannon did not divulge incidents from those parties. He maintained his sobriety, stating, "I don't drink, I don't take banned substances, I've never been drunk in my life. The matter involving Diddy and his legal battles needs time before we can verify who's engaged and who's lying. Till then, we can only speculate what may or may not have been."